Put Liam Neeson into any movie and you got my money. Welcome Cinema, where we focus on a film. Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you seen Absolution? Is it good? Is it bad? Or somewhere right in the middle? Let me know all your thoughts. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already. If it helps and benefits your enjoyment, or whether you're going to see this movie or not. And getting right into synopsis. An aging ex-boxer works for a crime boss when he suddenly receives an upsetting diagnosis, but he seeks to rectify past relationships with his daughter and put on a positive legacy for his grandson, but suddenly the crime world suddenly pulls him back in. Taking it right into a positive, first off, we got Hans-Peter Mullen as the director for this film, who has worked with Liam Neeson in the past with Cold Pursuit, which has been one of Liam Neeson's better films in the action days. This film is more centralized, a little bit more on the drama than being highly intense or an action film that's too far-fetched for what Liam Neeson can work with these days. Some of the action just doesn't always work well in his recent action films because he's getting older in age. They have to get a stunt double or take far too many takes in order to make a believable running scene. And so ultimately the way they pull off this drama movie manages to pull out a lot more of the emotions and certain moments that helps Liam Neeson express his emotions, build upon his character just that much more. And that's where I just enjoy Liam Neeson in any role he's in. It's just one of my go-to actors that I'll just watch any movie despite any bad reviews or things that may be iffy about the look of the movie or the trailer. But going into this one, there's a rather decent setup. It certainly had its moments here and there. What it was trying to do is certain things with the faltering memory, elements of the crime world, certain things where he was trying to rectify his past, get in a relationship with his father and his daughter, and what all that entailed with the past trauma he had with his father and regaining himself, trying to be the father he wished he would be in order to regain his relationship. There's quite a few moments here and there that make sense to the nature of what they're doing, trying to build upon the character. The directing is rather good, and because there's not so much action, it's not always too shaky. There is some action that you expect in the typical Liam Neeson film these days for what you often get from him for all the films that he's been put in as of recently, the past 10 years since Taken. It doesn't necessarily feel like a Taken movie, but there's certain things that may win you over, especially if you are a Liam Neeson fan like me. And that takes me right into the mix elements. This isn't a film that will be for everyone. It's more leaning into the Liam Neeson genre, if you will. Even though he's an actor, it almost has that sense of genre that feels different. It's not action-packed, so you do get a better Liam Neeson performance, but it still feels kind of stale. It's sort of becoming tropish in the way it's building upon his character, not necessarily feeling like it has anything special to say with all the extra moments. And even though some of the moments, like I mentioned, can work for the film, it doesn't have anything new to say with those moments. It doesn't develop anything too concrete with the way it builds upon giving enough time for past relationships to heal, things with him as a father just not working too well. And there's certain iffy moments here and there that I was kind of unsure about, because there's certain scenes that they take him back to his father, which is in the past, and taking it in a dream sequence, that's kind of a different creative outlet of what they choose to do in order to make those scenes. It's a little bit too outlandish in one sense, what they do, him sleeping on the couch and then suddenly he's in the lake based on the fishing trips he's done in the past, and what all that entails, and the information that's uncovering along the way doesn't strike me as emotionally as the film might expect you to, just with the messaging it's providing, the pieces of information you're uncovering about Liam Neeson's the character's past, and how all that entails to the division of what all you're getting out of his character, how he's connecting with his other daughter, his grandson, and also having the crime world going on at the same time, which takes me right into the negatives, to which, yes, there's a lot going on. There's the faltering memory, there's him trying to rectify with his past, certain other things, as well as things going on in the criminal underworld, in a sense, who he's connected to, trying to retire from that position. And so what all that brings up, as well as being an ex-boxer, it gives him the skill set that defines his character, but it's a random skill set that sort of just feels thrown in there as an excuse, not only to show a training of where he's been in the past, but also to sort of give on a positive legacy for his grandson, which can work to some extent. But while we do get all of those pieces of information sort of within the 15-minute mark, which is rather good for what you're doing to the setup of the film, it ultimately fumbles the ball with the way it juggles all that. Even though it doesn't feel too spread out, when you're getting one scene to the next, to the other problem, to this other issue, it still feels like you're following a bit too much, and it doesn't necessarily know how to juggle all the right emotional beats, hit all the right heavy hitting moments, what you're getting out of the dramatic role of Liam Neeson, also getting a new girlfriend, how that's dealing with his ex, and other things that are going about along the way. So it just handles a bit too much at odd kind of pacing. It's rather slow, which isn't a downfall to this film, though it could be for some. But when you're tracking all of these different pieces of information, you almost have a memory recall later on saying, oh, that was all part of the same film. And yes, it is. All of these different pieces of information that I explained to you that aren't necessarily spoilers to the natural plot, how it flows all out. It's not entirely predictable to some scheme of the way it's all flowing out. It still had a couple emotional impact moments here and there, but ultimately, it didn't fully embrace the nature of what it was trying to track all the way through, especially as it was taking this complicated relationship with his friend in the crime world, what he was doing to try and get out of that. But at the same time, you're having this whole other story where he's trying to rectify his past with his daughter and get a positive legacy passed on to his grandson. So it just fumbles the ball a little bit too much, even though it doesn't really wreck the experience, me being able to still enjoy certain moments here and there and not feel totally taken back by any particular moment. It still just feels a little bit mismatched with what it's actually trying to say. So that's just my review for Absolution, which I have to rate as simply 5 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments below, have you seen Absolution? Is it good? Is it bad? Or somewhere right in the middle? I'd say you probably stream it, unless you're a diehard Liam Neeson fan like me, and just want to see anything he does in the theaters. Then you would probably be seeing it right now already. So make sure to like this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already to join in the film culture community where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. So that's just all, and make sure to do yourself a favor and go watch a movie.